What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video topic is outside influences. So we will be exploring stories about relationships that are having problems because of outside influences. It's probably going to be a pretty long one because I have 4 stories and they all have updates. As a reminder, we do officially have our own Dacia's Digest Reddit subreddit. And so if you have any stories that you want me to cover on this channel, any of your personal stories that you have, feel free to add them there and then we'll see what we get. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And lastly, if you would like to support the channel, then you can buy me a coffee or a super thanks, whatever your heart feels led to give. Thank you all so much for your support. As always, all of the relevant links are going to be listed in the description. Let's get into it. Am I the a-hole for not telling my wife about an incident with her best friend? I want to be very sensitive when writing it here, but I have been dealing with unbearable guilt and wanted to know if what I'm doing is wrong. I really do not want to trigger anyone, but I will be writing about a very sad situation. Oh, okay. Glad he mentioned that. Let's brace ourselves. I haven't fully skimmed through, so I'm not sure what we're about to come across. I, 33 male, have been married to my wife, 31 female, for 6 years, and we have a 3-year-old kid. We are very happy together, and I'm lucky to be married to a very kind and smart woman. My wife's best friend, Anna, fake name for anonymity, has been living with us for the past 6 months. I wanted to talk about Anna to give a full context of why I am making my decision. Anna is my wife's best friend since school days. Anna was living in the city with her boyfriend, and we live in the suburbs of that city. They seemed happy together and were in a relationship for 2 years. However, my wife noticed bruises on Anna's hand last year and asked her about it. Initially, Anna dismissed it as work-related injuries. My wife kept on probing, and we learned that Anna was in an extremely toxic and harmful relationship. Her boyfriend lost his job last year and became extremely controlling and harmful towards her. He constantly accused her of cheating. Anna denies it, made her link her phone messenger to his computer, and started micromanaging finances. Ain't no way. While I am sensitive to the situation and I understand that when you're in it, it's different, but ain't no way that a man who is not working will have me linking up my bank account so he can micromanage the finances that he not even contributed to. Let's continue. He says, there was an incident of domestic violence that was the final straw, and my wife and I had to rush to the hospital to look after Anna. Wow, that's very, very sad. Since Anna's parents are mostly absent from her life, my wife asked me if Anna can stay with us for a few days. We are 3 people living in a 4-bedroom house and have 2 spare guest rooms. I, of course, agreed to it and told her that Anna can stay with us as long as she wants. I think the incident completely broke Anna, and she would just start crying randomly and completely shut down. It was really sad to see Anna in that state. She had to leave her job due to mental issues and stayed at home in the room all day. My wife is very kind and took care of Anna like she was family and made sure she felt loved. Anna is also thankful to my wife and I to help her in her worst time and helps around the house and with our kid, though we never leave him alone with Anna. Anna now is coming back to normal, smiles sometimes, and has started looking for a job again. Now, on to the incident. Last Friday, my wife and I went to work as normal and dropped our son at daycare. I had a doctor's appointment at noon and came straight home from there as I did not have a lot of work in the office. I made some lunch and then went to my room to sit in my bed and reply to all the emails. Anna was in her room and I did not talk to her after I came home. Around 2 p.m., I heard Anna's room door open and her walking in the hallway. Suddenly, our bedroom door opened and Anna walked in topless and just in her underwear. I was shocked and not sure how long I was staring at her, but after a few seconds, I blurted out, "I'm sorry," and she quickly covered herself with her hands. She was apologetic and started explaining herself. She said she just wanted to borrow my wife's clothes because her laundry was unwashed. It was super embarrassing to have the conversation with her in that state, and I looked away. She again apologized and then went out of the room. The incident lasted less than 2 minutes. All right, y'all, starting to sound a little okay. I don't know. Let me not make any judgments. See, maybe it really was an accident. But why would you be walking around topless in someone else's home that you don't pay bills at? And they could cut like someone could have came home at any time. I don't know. Anyway, after a while, she again came back into our bedroom fully dressed and apologized for the incident. She said it was really embarrassing and she did not know anyone would be home. I said it's okay and I should have told her I'm back early from the office when I came home. She asked me to not mention the incident to my wife. She said she feels embarrassed that she walked around the hallway without clothes and that I saw her in that state. I said, it's okay, let's forget about it. I have not told my wife about the incident and it's been 5 days. It was just a benign incident, but I somehow feel guilty about the whole thing. I feel more guilty that I'm lying to my wife by omission of the truth. However, I feel that if my wife takes it the wrong way, it may strain her relationship with Anna, and I feel really bad for Anna for what she had to go through. I also do not want to make Anna uncomfortable in our house by telling my wife about her barging into our bedroom in that state. Am I the a-hole in this case for not talking about this incident to my wife? I'm afraid that if Anna tells it to her first, it will make me look really bad and guilty. However, if I tell her, I do not want her to blame Anna for any of this and not help her in her time of need. Can someone please help me on how I can tell my wife about this? I don't even understand why he's making this post. I feel like it's like the solution is too easy. Tell your wife. You have no loyalty or anything to Anna. I can't see a situation in why you wouldn't tell your wife. And if your wife knows her friend, then why would it even be a thing to where her wife blames Anna or strains their relationship? Like if it's truly just an accident, then that shouldn't, like, I feel like that wouldn't even be an issue unless Anna has showed signs of being a trickster in the past. If that's the case, then I can see why you'd be concerned to share with your wife. But some random lady that's been living in your house, not random lady, but your wife's friend who's been living in your house doesn't control the communication between you and your wife. Tell your wife. Like you said, if Anna ends up telling her before you, now you look stupid. So now you was trying to save Anna. Your butt finna be on the line because you want to, I don't want to cause any friction. This seems like very simple and clear cut to me. So let me read a few comments and then there's an update. I see Dr. 23, you would be the a-hole if you do not tell your wife. Never keep secrets as a team with your house guest against your wife. Literally, I feel like that sums it up perfectly. Falling into polka dots said, if she really was just walking in to get an item of clothing, assuming she and your wife have that kind of clothes sharing friendship, and she was truly not aware that you were home, then this really doesn't sound like a big deal at all. It's a bit concerning that Anna is so worried about it. Granted, she is coming out of a harmful relationship. It really shouldn't have needed to be kept secret, and it's clearly bothering you to do so. So they give him a template of what he can say to his wife. Hey, sweetie, I had an awkward moment with Anna the other day that she felt really embarrassed about and didn't want to tell you, and I tried to honor that, but I feel weird about keeping such a benign snafu quiet. I came home from work early that one day and went straight to the bedroom to hang out. I knew Anna was home, but I hadn't said anything to her to let her know I was home too. I was minding my own when she came in to borrow an item of your clothing, and she was topless because she didn't know I was home or in our bedroom. She was extremely embarrassed. I averted my eyes immediately. She explained about the clothes and apologized. It was awkward all around, and then she exited and got dressed. Do you have any questions or concerns? And OP says, thanks, this is really helpful. Maybe I am overthinking this, but I have read that in these situations, the victim's trust in men is very fragile. Would it be horrible if I tell my wife After I told Anna I would not mention about this incident, should I talk about this with Anna first? Why is OP so worried about Anna? Forget Anna. Anna is not your wife. Why are you consulting Anna about it? This man is annoying me. Let me go to the update. Update, am I the a-hole for not telling my wife about an incident with her best friend? I wrote a post yesterday about an embarrassing situation that happened between my wife's best friend, who is currently staying at our house. I was not sure how to bring it up to my wife, and you guys really helped me a lot in understanding the urgency of telling my wife. I also got some cool ideas on how to bring up the subject without making it awkward for anyone. For everyone saying Anna was doing it on purpose, I did not agree with it, as I'm an extremely average looking person and women don't chase me. However, things since last night have been just crazy, and I think I'm spiraling a bit. Sorry for the long post. I just want to pause here because he's saying he didn't think Anna was doing it on purpose because he's average looking. Anna is not, well, okay. In my analysis, my unprofessional, uneducated analysis, Anna is not worried about your looks. What she sees is that she came from a harmful situation and now she's in a loving situation where she's being taken care of. She sees the dynamic between OP and his wife. She sees the love there, the harmony, etc. And now that she's getting better, she's trying to figure out what her next move gonna be. So my suspicion is that Anna is trying to replace the wife. She like, oh, OP takes care of my best friend. He does all these things. He has a full-time job. He has stability. They have this big house that I've been staying in. Maybe I could try to make a move and I can get a permanent place in the house and the friend can leave. It has nothing to do with your looks, OP. And also give yourself more credit, but it has nothing to do with your looks either way, in my unprofessional opinion. So OP says, so I decided to tell my wife last night as soon as she came home about the incident. I liked the idea of jokingly bringing it up casually so that we both can laugh about it and then forget it. Last night when my wife came home, I made sure I stayed in our bedroom. I asked Anna if she could stay with my kid downstairs. As my wife was changing, I asked her if Anna still borrows her clothes. Anna had to borrow them regularly when she first moved in. Long story. My wife told me yes, and she has told Anna she can take anything from her closet if she needs it. I asked my wife if Anna told her about the funny incident from Friday. My wife said no, and I told her the whole story about how I came home early and Anna came in the room almost naked to get her clothes and how embarrassing it was for both of us. As my wife was listening to this, she was completely frozen and turned pale. She started murmuring in Spanish, which is her and Anna's native language. I don't understand Spanish really well, but I understood the words hombre casado and otra vez. Okay, I know otra vez means another time, and hombre casado. Hombre is man. Casado, I don't know what that means. I hope it's not a curse word. Let's look it up. Casado. Married man. Has Anna done this before? Okay, hold on. Because the wife said married man again, basically. Yikes. Opie says, I asked her if she was okay, and she sat next to me and asked me to explain everything in detail. I just told her it was nothing, and she must not have heard me coming in. I was trying to laugh it off, but my wife had water in her eyes. I kept on telling her it was not a big deal, but she kept on asking me for more details. She asked me how Anna talks to me. I told her Anna barely talks to me since she moved in, except a few words here and there. My wife then asked about 3 weeks ago when my wife had gone to visit her parents for 4 days. Anna did not want to go with her and stayed back. I told her that Anna was just acting normal. She or I would cook dinner after I got home from work while the other took care of the kid. The only different thing was Anna generally spending her evening in her room. However, when I was sitting in the living room watching TV after the kids slept, Anna came and sat on the sofa next to me, but did not talk to me. I asked her if she wanted me to change the channel or stream something she liked, and she just said she wanted to get out of her room. However, she did not flirt with me or do anything unusual. I kept on telling my wife that it was just an accident, and I really did not understand why she reacted so emotionally to it. My wife refused to answer and just said, okay, and agreed with me. However, she told me I should have told her about the incident sooner and should not keep any secrets from her, and gave me a big lecture. I told her that I did not think it was a big deal and thought Anna would tell her, but glad I brought it up. After dinner, my wife messaged Anna to join us, and she came out. While talking, my wife brought up the incident and told Anna that I mentioned about the incident, and she does not need to feel embarrassed. Such things happen when we are all in the same house, and it's not a big deal. Anna was firstly taken by surprise, but then told my wife she was just scared to tell her because she thought my wife would judge her because of her past. And now we get more information. My wife gave her a stare, and she quickly changed the topic. At night, I asked my wife what the heck was going on. I told her to please not keep any secrets from me, and if she does not tell me, I will directly ask Anna about what her past has got to do with anything. My first guess was Anna might have had a thing for me before we got married or something, but my wife was very reluctant to answer and kept on trying to change the subject and cuddle. However, I kept being persistent, and she finally spilled the beans. Apparently, when Anna was in her 20s, she was in a relationship with a married coworker who was twice her age. It was kind of a sugar daddy relationship, and he told her that he was in an open relationship, or that's what Anna told my wife. And he would leave his wife in a few years once the kids go to college. This makes sense now because Anna is very pretty, like Miss USA level, and I never understood why she was single for most of the time I knew her. She eventually ended that relationship and started dating her boyfriend, Jim, who turned out to be a harmful a-hole. My wife said she suspects Anna was still involved with the older guy while in a relationship with Jim, which explains why he kept on accusing her of cheating. That is why my wife became emotional when I told her what Anna did, because she was worried Anna has no boundaries regarding married men. I mean, she clearly doesn't. She has a track record of having no boundaries. My wife said Anna always looks up to us and praises me for being such a loyal partner and how lucky my wife is. My wife was worried initially when she brought Anna home, but her actions from the time when my wife was away clearly show that she respects the boundaries, and it must have been an accident. My wife told me she is grateful I let Anna live in our house and for her to observe what a healthy and happy marriage looks like. This morning was even more weird. I got up early as I could not sleep and went down for a cup of coffee. After 5 minutes, Anna walked into the kitchen and told me she was relieved my wife did not overreact to the Friday incident. She said I'm a good husband and gave me a hug and a peck on the cheek. Are you? She has never hugged me in the last 6 months. She seems to be in a happy mood and was making small talk with me while having coffee. I cannot believe my wife did not tell me such a huge detail about Anna for all these years. It's completely possible she cheated all through the relationship with Jim, and my wife is just covering for her all along. She even kept it a secret from me after giving me a lecture about how we should never have secrets. And I don't know what else she is hiding. Everything just seems very confusing at this point. I feel angry at my wife for lying to me all these years for Anna. I also now see Anna differently. I am also worried that me trivializing the incident to my wife might have sent wrong signals to Anna. It's a lot going on here. Firstly, I want to say I don't think his wife was wrong in not telling him about Anna's past relationships, etc., because that's not his wife's business. That's not a first person account of events. So while it would have made sense if she mentioned it, I don't think she was obligated, and I don't think she was necessarily lying by not telling it, because that's not her business to tell necessarily. So I wouldn't really be mad at that. I feel like it's kind of pointless for him to be mad at that. But Anna is moving in. Anna is closing in on the target. She keeps doing things, little small things. She's playing the long game right now. She's doing little small things to slowly get closer to OP, coming out of her room, sitting on the couch, not doing anything, not saying anything, just being there, accidentally flashing her unclothed bosom to OP, giving him this hug and a kiss on the cheek. Oh, I'm so relieved. You're such a good husband. And he should tell his wife about that too, because that's too much. There would never be an incident where I could see myself giving my best friend's husband a kiss on the cheek. There's no incident where I could see that being necessary. I'll read just a few comments before I go to his last update. Tundra Queen 8812. Anna needs to go before her own messed up issues lead her to further mess with your marriage. She was testing OP again with the hug and kiss on the cheek, and I didn't see OP writing that he told his wife about that new development. She's got to go before she pushes it to the next level. And OP said, yes, I'm also a bit mad at myself for trying to casually describe the event as some of the Redditors advised and not talk about the fact that she was in the room for a lot longer. I was worried that my wife would be pissed at me. Now I wish I told her all the details and did not make it sound trivial. My wife now trusts Anna, and I'm getting more uncomfortable. Her plan is falling into place beautifully. Salty Interview 5311. It's clearly time for Anna to move out. I suggest you talk it over with your wife to set a date. Then both of you sit her down and let her know. She needs to know that this is coming from both of you. Then be very careful to not be, it says since, but I think maybe they meant alone with Anna. If that's not possible, have video cameras recording in your bedroom and the living room. That should help a lot in any case of any incidents or accusations. Balance breaks this. Anna is playing the long game. She has gotten away with everything so far. Now she will just keep pushing the boundaries. Of course, she will do it slowly, so OP will think it was all unintentional. Exactly. That's exactly what I said. She's playing the long game. She's smart. She knows what she's doing. All right, so the very final update for this. Final update, am I the a-hole for not telling my wife about an incident with her best friend? I wrote a few posts a month ago regarding my wife's friend. After I posted the update, a lot of you advised me to tell my wife about Anna hugging and kissing me on the cheek the following morning. I felt uncomfortable with the situation, and the comments really made me nervous. Most of you were reading my post as a telenova or the start of a spicy movie, and the comments were really not helping calm me down. Why are you so nervous, bro? Anna is nothing in your household. Of course, she is your wife's best friend, but I don't understand why this dude is so, is something going on? I don't understand why he's so nervous. You may not like this part, but I just decided to get off Reddit for a while and try to think through the situation on how to tell my wife. I felt that my wife treats Anna as family and just like her sisters. I have known my wife's sisters since they were in their early teens. I have had similar incidents happen with them all the time, and I never made a big deal out of it. There were so many times we had to tell them to keep their tops on when sitting in our backyard pool area when they were younger, and God knows how allergic they are to wearing pants around the house. However, I just treat them as they are my sisters. I decided I needed to do the same with Anna and treat her like my wife's sisters. I also wanted to communicate that clearly to both Anna and my wife so that we don't get in such uncomfortable situations anymore. OP, I get the sentiment, but Anna is not your wife's sister. You can see her as a sister. She's been around long enough, whatever. But the reality is she's not your wife's sister, so it is different. Anyway, he says, that night I was talking to my wife and decided to put a positive spin on the incident that happened early morning. I asked my wife if she noticed anything different with Anna. I told her that she woke up early with me today and greeted me with a hug and kiss and also helped me make breakfast. I told her that I'm glad she finally looks happy and is returning to her old self and how proud I am of my wife that she is such a kind-hearted person who helped a friend in need. My wife seemed happy with my comment and started saying that she also noticed Anna was chattier in the morning and was cleaning her room and talking about applying for jobs again. I told my wife that I feel Anna is like one of her sisters, and I'm happy she also considers us as family and is comfortable around us. Okay. I mean, the wife took that surprisingly well. I don't know if I would have had the same reaction, but okay. And he said the next few weeks were great. Anna started waking up early in the morning around the time I woke up at 5 a.m. We always had coffee together and had nice chats. She also helped me with breakfast and getting lunch boxes ready. She asked me if she can join my gym and if I can teach her some resistance training exercises. Her therapist told her it would be good for her to work out, so we started going to the gym 3 to 4 times a week in the evening before picking my son from daycare. I don't know, bro. I'm getting uncomfortable now. Y'all are spending way too much time. Her plan is working. Like, he doesn't see it. He doesn't see it. Her plan is working. Okay, how is this going to end? When was this posted? 12 days ago? Oh. We're going to get an update post a year from now. Am I the a-hole for sleeping with my wife's best friend? Okay. So he says, it's nice to have a regular gym partner and someone to geek out about the daily protein intake. I also told her when we were cooking that she is so much less annoying than my sister-in-laws, and I wish she was my sister-in-law. She just smiled at the comment. Anna has already had a few interviews and also contacted her old job, who seemed interested in hiring her back. She told us 2 weeks ago that she will be looking for apartments. We already saw 2 apartments in our suburb and hopefully should finalize that soon. My wife jokingly told her that her dating prospects are going to be bleak if she stays in our suburb. But Anna told us that she is going to stay away from relationships at least for a while now and work on herself. Plus, she enjoys our gym and loves spending time with our son. Bro, this has to be a joke. This has to be a joke. About the hugging and kissing, I think I have decoded it. A hug from Anna is normal, and I get one every morning. This has to be a rage bait. There is absolutely no way that this man is this clueless. He's stressing me out. I'm getting pissed off. This has to be fake. That's the only way that I can reconcile with the events that are happening right now before my eyes. So he says, a hug from Anna is normal and I get one every morning. However, I think she kisses people on cheeks as a way to say thank you. Things are really looking positive for Anna, and we are very happy that she was able to get through a bad patch in her life. She had isolated herself from everyone after the incident 7 months ago. However, she plans to join my wife and son on her summer trip to my in-laws in a few weeks, unless there are any updates on the employment front. I just hope the best for her, and I'm glad that I did not make a big deal out of the situation. I am also glad to have such a kind and understanding wife who was there for her friend in need. I cannot take this man seriously at all. He is so clueless, and she is really working on her strategy. Like, she got a good strategy. And the fact that she's able to be getting away with all these things she's getting away with, OP doesn't see it. I know right now in his mind, he's like, oh, that's just my wife's best friend. Like, nothing's going on. I see her as a sister, blah, 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 blah. I see her as a sister-in-law. Hopefully he maintains that resolve in his mind. But y'all are spending way more time together, it seems, than you spend with your wife. Y'all have common interests now. Y'all are going to the gym together. You are helping to resistance train her, which to my knowledge involves a lot of stretching and close contact. Y'all are getting sweaty at the gym together before you go to pick up your son. So now she's another motherly figure. She loves spending time with their son. And instead of going to get an apartment in the city area where she has more dating prospects, etc., she's getting an apartment in your neighborhood. So y'all can continue to spend more time together. She could continue to go to your gym. And now you guys have a second place to hang out, because guarantee next post, Anna invited me over for a protein shake and ended up getting a different kind of protein. That's gonna be the next post. 2 years later, we're gonna be, how do I navigate custody? I'm getting a divorce. Does he have any other posts? No, he doesn't have any other posts, but let me read some of the comments here. Oh man. Sarah Lebowski, if this works out for you guys, that's great. For me, it's such a huge red flag that she wakes up the same time as you, joined the same gym as you, and wants to spend a lot of time with you, plus is looking at places to rent near you. Maybe it's because I've seen too many stories like that in a horrible way. Again, if it works out for you guys, it's great. To me, it's one red flag after another and seems like the start of something fishy. Yep. Jane Austen astronaut. Yep, I'm gonna wait a few months before OP posts an update about Anna making a move on him and his wife ending the friendship and him feeling guilty. OP is either he's so clueless or he's secretly hoping that she does make a move on him so he'll have an excuse. Mi nombre es Ricardo. Bwahaha, he doubled down and now even goes out with her to the gym almost every day. Jeez. Just as I can be so cruel, said because he likes the attention, he likes that she gives him hugs and kisses every day. In fact, if she doesn't, then he gets so worried. That means she isn't feeling well because he's reasoned that those hugs and kisses just means she's happy. He is willfully ignorant because he likes the relationship he is building with her, and he is uncomfortable that everyone is poking holes in his reasoning because it means rocking the little boat he is sailing on the river of denial. Denial is a river in Egypt. Someone else had posted a comment, 5 a.m., 5 in the freaking morning, breakfast kisses and hugs before the sun and your wife comes up, coffee talks, packing lunches, gym together, picking up the kid together. Who exactly are you married to, sir? The only time I've ever gotten up at 5 was for a job or an unfortunately timed appointment. She doesn't give a F about protein shakes. She just wants more time for you to ogle her body. She's going to freaking daycare to pick up your kid with you. No single woman volunteers to go to a dang daycare for no reason. She's trying so hard to spend one-on-one time with you, and your daily routines have changed to include her. I doubt either of you try that hard to spend quality time with your roommate, wife, her friend. You two have caught feelings, and you are lying to yourself, your wife, and everyone else here. This is an emotional affair. Kick her out of your life before your wife boots you both to the curb for playing house in front of her. Y'all are disrespectful AF. Yes. OP said, haha, I get crap from everyone for waking up at 5. I leave for work before 7, so I like to make nice breakfast for everyone and help out my wife in any way I can before I leave. My son has special needs and it's hard to get things done when he's up. I get where you're coming from, but it's nice to have some help in the morning. I disagree with everything else you wrote. If you knew me in person, you would realize how ridiculous that would sound. Why? Why would it sound ridiculous? Please, give us some more details, because we're all confused. Never find this account says info. So, do you spend any time with your wife? All you did was talk about how you spend every morning coffee and your gym sessions with Anna. Just don't ignore your wife because you're having a fawn trauma response to her friend. Opie said, my wife and son are, of course, my first priority. However, I start and end my work early and my wife works late. This is so that she can spend time with my son in the morning while I look after him in the evening. So we generally only spend time at nights and weekends together. I didn't talk about them in the post because I thought it was not useful to bore everyone with my daily routine. Also, the situation with Anna is temporary and she will be gone soon anyways. He has another comment. I understand the concerns everyone is having. However, the way I look at it is I have confidence in myself to not slip as I love my wife and my son more than anything in the world. Anna needed our help and I was just doing my part to make her feel comfortable in our house. I feel that as long as I treat her like one of my wife's sisters and maintain the same boundaries, both my wife and I will feel comfortable around her. All right, that's all that's all the comments he has on the final update. I'm gonna be watching this because this is crazy to me. I mean, he did say that he only sees her as a sister-in-law. He knows himself. He's so confident. He loves his wife and his son more than anything. Hey, if he really believes that, I'll try to give him the benefit of the doubt. But we are all humans, bro. We are all. All it takes is a glass of wine, a night where your wife has gone to see her family out of town and you stayed back because you got to work. Anna conveniently is there, and because you guys always hang out anyway. It's nothing out of the ordinary for you to have a glass of wine together, reminisce about protein shakes and resistance workouts. And as soon as you know it, if he thinks it's okay, then okay. I guess there's nothing we can say. Let's move on to the next story. I'm concerned about my 30 male wife's 28 female new friend, 29 female, and am doubting her intentions. I, 30 male, have been married to my wife, Sam, 28 female, for 3 years. About a year ago, we moved to a new city because I was offered a promotion. Sam was hesitant at first, but soon came around to the idea. Since arriving in the city, we both have been busy with work and have struggled to make new friends. Around 4 months in, Sam told me she had met a new friend, Jane, 29 female, and they had a lot in common. I was happy for her, and we planned a double date with Jane and her husband a few weeks later. At the first dinner, we started to make the usual small talk, but when I tried to engage with Jane, she seemed cold and dismissive. For the rest of the night, I was left to speak to the husband while my wife and Jane were in deep conversation. Every time I tried to join their chat, Jane started talking to my wife again. The husband never tried to get involved. I brushed this off as Jane maybe being a bit shy around new people and forgot about it. Over the next month, Sam and Jane would text constantly. Okay, wait, first, my thoughts on what he said there. I tend to be kind of cold towards male partners. If male partners or male best friends or whatever of people, just because I get I'm overly cautious. I'm the opposite of the man in the last story. I don't want no confusion about me being too nice to nothing. So I'll keep it friendly. Oh, hi, give a hug. And that's pretty much it. I try not to engage in too much conversation. I'm also kind of socially awkward when talking to people. So I don't know. Maybe that was part of it. I doubt it, as just assuming, because we have 2 updates to this story, but I just wanted to mention that. So he says, over the next month, Sam and Jane would text constantly, have long phone calls at night, and meet up a couple of times a week for coffee and lunch. This didn't bother me, as I just thought they were forming a close friendship. We then went out again for dinner, and the same thing happened, although Jane spoke to the whole group more this time, but she made a number of comments alluding to her being bi and her husband being in some sort of an open relationship. Okay, now this is where things get sticky. When we moved on to a bar, Jane sat across from my wife and started openly flirting with her. She would make suggestive comments, compliment her, and use any excuse to make physical contact with her, touching her hands, shoulders, etc. Yeah, this is too much. This is crossing the line. I probably would have been looks like we gotta go, cause what are you doing? In front of your husband too? That's crazy. When we got home, I made a joke asking Sam if she enjoyed her date with Jane. She looked confused and asked what I meant. I said that Jane had made me a bit uncomfortable with her flirting, but she said that's just how she is. I told her that I wasn't sure Jane just wanted to be friends and asked her to be careful. For reference, Sam has never shown any real interest in women, and as far as I know, she is straight. She is also endearingly naive and will always see the best in people. The texting and calls continued, and Sam started going over to Jane's apartment at least once a week and wouldn't come home until quite late. See, again, that's not really that big of a deal. Like when I do hang out with my friends, we do take it pretty late, but like it's just, we're just hanging out. So I don't know. That could go both ways too. I was wary, but she would always tell me what they had done, watched, etc. After one of these visits, I asked what Jane's husband was up to and was slightly shocked to hear that he was away on a business trip. Apparently, he traveled a lot and Jane didn't like being home alone. I would figure that he would like it better if the husband wasn't there, because if he was there, I don't know. This came to a boiling point a few weeks ago when I took Jane's husband to play golf. We were supposed to go out for drinks and dinner after with the other two guys, but they both had to cancel last minute. On the 10-minute drive back to my house, I could see Jane's husband texting Jane. Jane and Sam were supposed to be going out for shopping and lunch, but when we arrived at my place, they both looked flustered, sitting at opposite ends of the couch. We made awkward small talk for a while, but I went to the bedroom and I noticed Jane's smartwatch sitting by the bed. They left quickly and I decided it was time to talk to Sam. Jane's smartwatch sitting by the bed? The friend's smartwatch sitting by your bed in your bedroom. Why would that? Now, up until this point, I've been trying to rationalize all these events, thinking like, oh, if it was me and my friends, like, yeah, that wouldn't really be weird, XYZ. I can't think of many reasons why a friend's smartwatch would be sitting by the bed. Maybe in the room somewhere, say you had to change clothes or so, I don't know. Okay. He says, they left quickly and I decided it was time to talk to Sam. I casually asked her what she bought at the mall and where they went for lunch. She said they decided to stay home instead because Jane had a headache. I asked her to be honest about what they had done, and she swore that they just chatted all afternoon and they were just friends. I told her I was uncomfortable with a lot of things that have happened, but she tried to reassure me. I noticed later that the smartwatch was gone, but I didn't bring this up to Sam. Since then, there have been no phone calls or messages while I was around, and Sam seemed extra loving and attentive. She rarely brought up Jane, but last night she mentioned that she was going to a concert with Jane on Saturday, then would crash at her place. I said I wasn't comfortable with this and offered to pick her up instead. She got angry and said that I was acting controlling and crazy, then went to bed. We haven't spoken since, but am I overreacting here? Should I try to stop her from staying over on Saturday? I think I trust Sam, but something is telling me that her relationship with Jane is not just as friends. Should I snoop? TLDR, wife made a new friend, and I'm concerned about their close relationship. All right, this is a tough one because on one hand, I'm like, all of the things that he mentioned could be perceived in a different way. Like, just because she says she's bi doesn't really mean anything. She just could be sharing a benign detail about her lifestyle. Just because she said her and her husband have an open relationship, that could just not mean anything. It could just be a benign detail. Her interacting with the wife at the bar and being touchy and feely, maybe the husband saw it as flirting, but maybe it's just how I have friends who are very touchy, and I got one friend that will punch me. She gets really excited when she's laughing and stuff, and so she'll punch her in the arm. But like the wife said, that could just be how Jane is. The calls and the texting, it could just be a friendship thing. And also, just because they said they were going out shopping, that doesn't mean they can't change their mind. They could just stay in. Also, they could have just looked flustered just because they weren't really expecting the guys to come back so soon. I don't know. All of these things could be perceived as innocent. So unless there's other things, maybe. And on the other hand, if I was him, I could see how all of the things that I just mentioned could be perceived as suspicious. So he needs to gather some more evidence. Generally, I don't really like to snoop. I feel like it just causes stress and anxiety. In this case, though, if my gut was telling me something, I would probably snoop. I'm not gonna lie. However wrong it may be, I'd probably put some cameras. I'd probably install some cameras or a listening device or something. Not for a long term, maybe just a week or so, just to see. And once I confirm that my suspicions are not true, then, hey, they can continue. But I don't know. I feel like it could really go both ways. Let me read some of the comments here. Apprehensive Road 8818. So Jane has persuaded your wife to try intimacy again. Your wife is lying to you and to herself. She knows what's happening and is letting it unfold. You can't stop her or forbid her from going on Saturday, but you can tell her you know something's up, you feel lied to, and that you will be looking to distance yourself unless she gets very honest about what's happening. It's easy to normalize non-monogamy when your wife is around people who practice it. They tell her you're controlling and repressed, you're just monogamous. Move out or ask her to leave until she's sorted herself out and is ready to be honest. Edit to add, talk directly to the husband saying you're aware of what's going on and you are not okay with it. He was warning Sam and Jane that you were arriving home early. This man is not your friend. He is there to distract you from their dates. Again, I could see it both ways. He could have been warning, or he could have just been texting his wife, hey, we're done with the da-da-da on the way. Like, that could have also been, I don't know. Fragrant Spray said, it sounds like your wife has a girlfriend and just learned she needs to hide it better. Expect the blame shifting, gaslighting, and other lies to ramp up while she convinces you that you are the bad guy for saying anything about it. You should put together an exit plan in case you need one and gather evidence so you have a clearer picture of what's going on. Now, I will say the one thing that was a little odd to me was the fact that she was like, oh, we're going to go to the concert, but I'm just going to crash at her place after. And he was like, oh, that's okay, I'll pick you up. And she got mad. I feel like that was weird because, like, why would that be an issue for your husband to pick you up from a concert versus you staying at someone else's house who lives close by? Throw Brian Away said the husband texting Jane while you're on your way back was a heads up to stop what they were doing as you were about to walk in. They were in the bed and rushed out to the couch, hence the watch sitting by the bed. She's been hooking up with her for a bit now, and it's fully obvious based on Jane's demeanor towards you. There is no question at this point, especially her getting mad that you're offering to pick her up from the concert. Other commenters touched on it. She has a new friend in an open relationship, and yours suddenly seems controlling and antiquated. Wouldn't be surprised if the husband has had his fun with your wife as well. I would have sat her down and asked for honesty, or I can't do this anymore. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds plausible. I don't know, I guess the way that they put that together, that does sound like something's going on here. And I do agree that I think the husband may have had a little part to play in this whole situation, and maybe they're all kind of trying to get OP on board. I don't know. Let me go to the update, the first update. Update, I'm concerned about my 30 male, wife's 28 female, new friend 29 female, and am doubting her intentions. After reading your messages and comments, my head was a mess. I decided I needed some firm proof that Sam was cheating before I confronted her. Exactly, that was my thought. He said, when I got home from work, Sam had made dinner as normal and sat with me while I ate. I acted normally with her, and she caught me off guard by apologizing for her behavior the night before. She asked if I was still willing to pick her up, or she would even try to find someone selling a ticket if I wanted to come along. I asked her to try to find a ticket, and she seemed happy. The rest of the night was normal, and after we went to bed, I couldn't sleep. Around 1 a.m., Sam was sound asleep, so I grabbed her phone and went to the bathroom. I unlocked it. We know each other's passcodes. I braced myself. I knew they texted each other on WhatsApp, so I started by trying to find any other messaging apps. I checked everywhere and used the trick someone recommended of looking at the battery usage to see the most used apps. I didn't find anything. Sam is not into social media and doesn't use Instagram or Snapchat. I also checked her browser history, emails, photos, call logs, deleted items, etc., and couldn't find anything out of the ordinary. I decided to check WhatsApp next and open the chat with Jane. I found hundreds of messages, sometimes up to 50 per day between them. Okay, I'm getting nervous. Around 99% of them were completely normal, talking about TV shows, books, music, recipes, family, day-to-day life, etc. The other 1% that might be a bit suspect included Jane would often bring up spicy parts of books and TV shows and want to talk about it. This happened regularly, and Sam would engage, but not in too much detail. One conversation about spicy things that Jane initiated, which came from a scene in a book. She was complaining that her husband is submissive and got quite explicit. Sam shared a bit too much about our intimate life, but nothing outrageous, and she was very complimentary about me. Jane replied she was jealous in a joking way with some emojis. 3, Jane casually mentioned that she had a quote-unquote friend over a few times when Sam asked what she was up to. Sam's replies were always along the lines of, have fun. 4, Jane would complain about her husband a lot and ask about our relationship. Again, Sam was complimentary and didn't say anything particularly negative about me. 5, Jane sent Sam a link to a spicy toy for her opinion. Sam replied, oh yeah, we have one of those. It's great. Okay, so it seems okay. There were no nudes or anything pointing towards them being intimate. Nothing had been deleted. I checked some of the chats with her other friends and they were very similar. What was most concerning was the way which Jane texted Sam. She would always initiate the conversation and follow up 3 to 4 times until Sam responded. She would then start calling if she didn't respond. There were also a few messages where Jane's tone changed when Sam wouldn't reply. She would become less friendly and cold. Also, when Jane asked Sam to do something together, there was always a subtle guilt trip added, like she didn't want to go alone because of social anxiety and she was scared of being home by herself, etc. The messages and calls slowed down in the last few weeks because they were both complaining about being busy and Jane had been out of town. Even though I didn't find the smoking gun I was looking for, it's clear that Jane and her weird husband are bad news for our marriage. We will be having a come to Jesus conversation tonight where I will get the truth because Sam is a terrible liar. If nothing more has happened, I will make it clear that divorce is still on the table if these creeps are not permanently and immediately removed from our lives. TLDR, I decided to snoop on my wife's phone. I didn't find the smoking gun, but something is clearly not right. Okay, so maybe I was right. Partially right. Now I'm thinking that I'm getting mixed up with the names. Jane, because Sam is the wife, right? Yeah. So now I'm thinking that Jane is the one who is interested in the wife, and she was probably flirting with the wife. The wife didn't think anything of it because she is not into women and she just thought that was how she was. And now I think that Jane is the one trying to pressure the wife into crossing the line, or she's kind of like alluding to things or bringing things up. So now I think that Jane is the one obsessed with the wife and the wife is pretty much just oblivious, and that Jane is trying to manipulate her and to be, oh, your husband, he's so controlling, like he won't let you do this, da 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 da. So I still don't believe that the wife has done anything. I could be wrong, but I do think that Jane is a shady character. She should be watched carefully. As far as the watch that was by the bed, the wife did say that Jane had a headache. So maybe that was also Jane's way of getting in the room. Like, oh, I have a headache. Can I just lay down? Got in the room, took off the watch, laid down, just took a nap, but didn't nothing happened. But maybe that's what it was. I don't know. Let me see. Dud Avocado says, it seems like your wife has this handled. If Jane has tried to cross boundaries, your wife hasn't engaged or allowed it to happen. A conversation about divorce, if your wife doesn't cut Jane off, is inappropriate given that you already invaded her privacy and didn't find anything except that their friendship may be cooling down anyways. Prodigious Beats said, agree. I'm surprised OP isn't more proud or thankful for his wife's behavior. While she could shoot it down more, she ain't running towards the questionable stuff either. He should have snooped as a last resort. He needs to open up with, I am so confused and lacking trust that I harmed your trust in turn and looked through your phone. OP needs to recognize the error in the snooping and share that he feels so conflicted and concerned that he was actually willing to do this. Then I got High 81 said he's going to accidentally end the marriage he's trying to protect. OP, you've had these awful suspicions which have created a lot of heightened emotions. I get it's hard to switch tracks when the smoking gun isn't found, but coming at her like she's done something to cause these feelings in you when she hasn't is going to make you look like a gigantic, insecure a-hole. And if Jane is trying to get between you two, you're giving her some powerful ammunition. Be smarter than this. I agree with the comments. He said that divorce is still on the table. Honestly, I don't know why it was even on the table. That seems like a pretty far jump from, I think my wife is doing something nefarious to, okay, I snooped and didn't find anything, but still, I want to get a divorce. Like, she literally hasn't done anything from what you've said, what you've witnessed, and also from what you found in her personal files. So, like, why would divorce even be on the table? Now, I do agree that that couple doesn't need to be around them anymore, but he's being a bit dramatic here. Calm down. Let me go to the next update. All right, final update. I'm concerned about my 30 male wife's 28 female new friend, 29 female, and am doubting her intentions. First of all, my original post was not intended to cover all of the things that led me to being suspicious of Sam's relationship with Jane. There were a number of other factors, for example, Sam prioritizing communication and spending time with Jane over me, Sam not talking about Jane like she did with her other friends, etc. We did talk about most of this at the time because, believe it or not, we do have good and regular communication. Now on to the update. Sam came home on Friday and we sat down to talk after dinner. This was not a big showdown, but just a normal conversation that lasted many hours. Here is a summary. Sam originally loved spending time with Jane, but it became too intense and weird for her a few months ago. She feels Jane is too needy and controlling, but didn't want to lose her only close friend in this city. 2. Sam knows that Jane has a crush on her, but made it clear that she was happily married and straight. She should have told me about this, but knew that I wouldn't be okay with it. 3. Nothing physical happened between them. Jane tried to initiate physical contact in a playful way and made suggestive comments about Sam, her body, etc. Sam shut this down. 4. Sam told me she wanted to cut down contact with Jane and focus more on our relationship and spending time with a new friend she has made. As for my concerns, here is Sam's explanation. Jane's attitude towards me, apparently she doesn't like most men and treats her husband terribly. The flustered, awkward situation when I came home from golf, Jane was showing Sam some spicy scenes from a new TV show. They didn't realize we were coming back early and switched the TV off as soon as we came through the door. The watch, Jane was going to borrow a dress for a wedding and went into our bedroom to try some on. Sam assumes she took it off, and when she saw it, she put it in her bag to give it back to her later. Sam's reaction when I asked her not to crash at James' apartment, apparently Jane had planned a girls' night after, and Sam thought she would get angry if she canceled. I also told Sam that I snooped on her phone. She was initially angry but understood why I did it and forgave me. We both apologized to each other and went to bed. I managed to get a ticket for the concert and went with Sam and Jane last night. Jane made some thinly veiled comments and jokes about me being their chaperone, but I laughed it off. We met another couple there and I ended up hanging out with the other husband while the ladies danced. Long story short, we are good. I trust my wife and we had a long conversation about boundaries. Thanks to all of you that provided constructive, helpful comments, but given the number of insults and offensive messages I've received, I won't be coming to Reddit for advice again anytime soon. All right, That's great. So seems like everything is resolved. I knew it from the start. I was like, none of this stuff is really seeming like it's really amounting to much. So I was like halfway right because he did have some valid concerns, not on his wife's part, but on Jane's part, because she clearly was trying to make a move and insert herself and it didn't work. Shout out to the wife for sticking up for herself and not allowing it to go there. So that's a happy ending. I hope they continue with good communication and they have a long, happy marriage. Now, I said I was going to do 4 stories in this video, but my recording time right now is already at 1 hour and 16 minutes. So I'll save the other 2 stories for a different video, but I will end it off with a palate cleanser. It is from the Petty Revenge subreddit, just a small one. And so before I get into that, make sure you double check that you're subscribed. And let me read this last story. You want to park across my driveway? Fine, do that. I live on the main road of a tiny town, which is on a popular caravan route. There's a cafe 2 doors down. I frequently get vans parked partially blocking my driveway. Annoying, but if I can get out, no problem. Today the boomers didn't even pretend to leave space. The giant 4-wheeler and massive caravan was parked squarely across the driveway. The hitch was literally in the middle of the driveway. All they had to do was park about 10 meters further up the road and there wouldn't be any issues. I had just mowed the front lawn. I normally don't worry about the nature strip. It's dry, mostly dirt and gravel, and the council looks after it anyway. Oh, this must be in Europe. But today I made sure I have the best tended nature strip in town. Gravel flying everywhere. Some may have hit the car or van. Who can tell? There was definitely a thin film of dust over them at least. When the missus returned to the car, I did politely point out that they had blocked my driveway. She had the grace to look embarrassed. Mister didn't even have the courage to say anything to me. I didn't stop until they left. F them. Okay, hey, that's one way to do it. I probably would have called the tow man. I don't know if y'all have that over there, but shoot, if y'all want to block a driveway, we can get your car handled. But that's also, I like that, petty revenge. So thank you, OP, for sharing, and thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you in the next video.